Hello, my name is Tony Beers, and this is Movie Grades.
And just like the movies, we play out our last scene.
All right, everybody, Tony Beers here again. And in this episode of Movie Grades, I'm going to talk about Sin City, A Dame to Kill For. I got my buddy Jay here.
Howdy.
And we're going to have a little talk with you guys about this here motion picture.
Sin City, A Dame to Kill For is an anthology of stories about the citizens of Sin City. In one story, we are introduced to Johnny, a gambler with all the luck in the world. But is his luck about to run out? Then our old friend Dwight returns with a new dame. But is this dame worth killing for? And Nancy struggles with her own sanity as she mourns the loss of her one true love.
Alright, now, Jay, let's talk about, what we liked about it. What was good about it, you think?
Well, visually it was good, just like the first one. I mean, we talked about this yesterday and today. Visually, it's good. I mean, it's right where the comic is. You know, it comes straight from the comic, from what you showed me. I never read it till today, or looked at it.
Yeah.
It had the same black and white with certain colors involved, which those are eye-catching.
Mm-hmm.
And the certain things that were in color were supposed to be eye-catching that you would notice a little bit more, I think. Woman's eyes, dress maybe, some signs in the background, certain things.
Right.
And, those were all right in line with the first one. I didn't have any issue with that. That was really good, and the action sequences were really good, most of them. Miho's action sequences were the best, by far.
Agree with you on that one.
Other than that, like I said, it's pretty much in the same lines as the first one.
Yeah. Yeah, let's talk about the actors. What do you think about the actors?
Josh Brolin played Dwight McCarthy, who Clive Owen played in the first one.
Yeah.
This part with him was a little bit more in-depth than the first one as far as the character, Dwight.
Yeah.
He did a good job. I thought it was pretty good. Him and Clive Owen were pretty similar in the part.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. This new kid, Josh Brolin, he was in one of your favorite movies, Goonies, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah, Brand.
Well, it was one of his very first movies, and he's come a long way, and he's a really good actor, and he's really good in this. And I would say that, of all the actors, he is, one could say this is his movie. He has the biggest part, he has the main part, him and Mickey Rourke as Marv, I would say this is their movie. And a little bit of Jessica Alba.
Oh yeah,
as
you can't
Nancy.
forget her.
But those were the and Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Those four were the big the ones that drove the movie. And since we're talking about the main characters, let's talk about Marv next. What do you think about Marv?
Like I was saying a little bit ago, Mickey Rourke did a good job again as Marv.
Mm-hmm.
He was right there, that character. He's like, give me a name, we'll go take care of it.
Yeah.
He was like that in the first one. He's just a guy that likes to bust people's ass. That's basically what he is.
Yeah.
And he doesn't really necessarily have a.
He's not malicious.
Yeah, he's not doing it. He's not doing it just. He's not doing it just to do it. He's doing it because somebody got wronged, or He has an intent behind it. It's not something like, oh, I'm just gonna bust somebody's ass today.
Yeah, he has a code.
He has kind of an honor, code of honor.
Yeah.
Which it's kind of a weird character to have a code of honor, but he does.
Yeah.
He does a good job.
He does what he feels is right, and he punishes the people he feels should be punished. He has no problem with killing because he thinks they deserve it because they're the bad guys.
Yeah.
And that's, in his mind, that's what you do to the bad guys,
Yep.
is you kill them. All right, now we talked enough about the guys. Let's talk about the women in this movie. Let's talk about Ava Green.
What do you think? The Dame to Kill For.
The Dame to Kill For.
That's basically what she is.
The title character, yeah.
I only seen her in the one other movie. Like I told you, she was in 300, Rise of an Empire. She played a sicko, pretty much. Man, you know, she plays a good psycho. I mean, she does. She does a great job, and you know, she's real, you know, nice on the eyes too. I mean, that doesn't hurt.
No.
But in this one, she's got her part great. I mean,
Yeah.
she like you said last night, she's an up and coming actress. She really is. She's doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is the second movie I've seen her in, and she's done a great job both times.
Yeah, you know, and you know, coincidentally, her name is Ava, and her character's name is
Ava.
Her name is Eva, and her character's name is Ava.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But you know, and I thought she was great. I mean, and you can see behind us, you know, that's one of the visual things is they have a little bit of color. You
Her
can see
eyes
her
are
lipsticks and her gorgeous green eyes showing behind us. I don't know if those are real or contact.
Can't go wrong with green eyes.
Yeah.
And I can see why those guys fell for it, because I'm a sucker for green eyes too.
And we have to mention that she spends majority of the time in this movie naked.
Yeah,
You know,
she does.
She's more naked than she is wearing clothes in this.
Well,
you know?
she's naked, but you don't see but nothing but the top half, more or less.
Yeah.
I mean, there is one scene where you kind of, but it don't really show anything. It's like shadowy.
Now, we got to mention that we did not see this in 3D, which is too bad, because, you know, we've seen that in 3D.
I think it would have been cool
nice.
in 3D. With some, those, you know, they might have poked your eye out. But, I think some of the scenes would have been really fantastic in 3D, like Miho scenes and a few of the other ones. I thought they would have been interesting to see in 3D. It would have been
excellent. Yeah. All right, let's get on to one of these other dames in this movie. Let's talk about Jessica Alba. What do you think of her?
Well, she redid her role as Nancy. Things have changed for her, and it's not a good place. Jessica Alba does a good job in this. I mean, as far as you feel for her, what she's going through and all the scenes and stuff that she does, I would say she did a good job.
Yeah, I think she did a good job, too. Her part is reduced here, I'd say. So
she's not as much. She was in the first one a lot more. This one is more, like you said, centered around Mickey Rourke's character and Josh Brolin's character. But when you do see her, she's dancing around in skimpy clothes and smacking her own butt and, you know, good stuff.
Yeah, you know, even if you don't like her as an actress, you gotta admit, she sure dance very well.
She can dance very well.
And, you know, I have thought it's funny that, you know, I've heard other people mention this, you know, one strip club in Sin City, and none of the strippers get naked.
Yeah, none of them got naked.
And everybody else, all the other women get naked out of the strip club, but not in the strip club.
That's Sin City.
All right, let's talk about newcomer to Sin City here. You know, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. You know, what do you think of him?
Well, I mean, you know how I felt about that story with him, but I mean, he did what he had to do. I mean, he's a good actor. I mean, I have not really seen him in a bad role, so. You know, I can't say it's his fault for this, how I feel about his part in this movie, but he did a good job with what they gave him, as far as, that's about all I can say. I mean, you know how I felt about the scenes he was in.
I thought he was really good. I thought he fit well in the Sin City thing, you know. The only thing I don't like about Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and this isn't anything personal against him, I honestly think he's a good actor, but there's a scene in here where he beats up a couple of guys, and anybody who can see Joseph Gordon-Levitt knows he's a pretty skinny, scrawny-looking guy, and that's one thing I just kind of felt hard to believe, is he beat up like two guys.
And these guys were big.
And yeah,
they
these
were big guys.
And it's like, come on. I just didn't buy it.
Well, they didn't really show it, though. I mean, they showed a shadow of him hitting a guy.
Right,
you know.
All that aside, I thought it was pretty good. Well, since you brought up this scene, let's talk about it. Let's hear this rant about this scene that he didn't like.
Okay. If you know Sin City, you know it's stories about people. The only problem, I had a real problem with the Joseph Gordon-Levitt story because I just feel it was unnecessary to tell, and everything else that was going on. It was just, for me, it was an unnecessary part of the movie. You know, I mean, like, I'm just going to say it, he's basically a gambler, lucky, wins everything, and he goes up against the senator. Beats the senator. So what happens? He has stuff happen to him. And he basically gets fixed up and goes back at it again. You know, to me, with everything else that was going on with all the other stories, it was just an unnecessary story to tell. I just felt it was kind of a filler. It wasn't really anything. You know what I'm saying?
I get your point, yeah.
But I mean, you had a different take on it than I did.
Yeah.
And I could see your point as well.
Yeah.
As what it was about. You know, he basically was, hey, I beat this guy twice, and everybody in this room knows it.
Yeah.
No matter what happens to me, fine. But only those 4 people knew it.
Yeah.
And you know, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, and just to me, it was just an unnecessary scene or sequence. I should say it was a sequence. It was an unnecessary sequence. I mean, it's kind of like. What was the other one we were talking about?
103.
No, yeah, the Ray Liotta sequence. That was unnecessary. It didn't belong in there.
Yeah.
Or like you said, they could have cut it shorter.
Yeah.
It was way too long of a sequence. I mean, it was like 10 minutes, and that's all he's in the movie. 10 minutes. And Ray Liotta's in Sin City.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's in it 10 minutes. It's kind of like the Expendables. Jet Li's in it for 10 minutes, and he's gone. I think those two right there hurt the movie.
Okay.
I think they hurt it. That's my opinion. You're going to think differently, obviously, but...
Yeah, I would just like to say I absolutely see your point, but I just disagree with you on it. You know, because I actually felt that I really liked his story, and I felt that that it was really good. I mean, could they have taken it out? Maybe. I mean, I don't know. It would have been an awfully short movie, but yeah, they could have. I mean. Actually, if you think about it, they could. It's like I said, it's about 3 stories in here. They could have made a movie about all 3 stories. Personally, I liked it. Yeah, but I really understand anybody who doesn't like it. I don't have a problem with, because I really understand where you're coming from, and I could absolutely see someone not liking that story. But you know, and I agree with you about the Ray Liotta scene. That could have been. I don't think it should have been taken out, but I think it should have been shortened. It just kind of went on a little too long.
It dragged.
Here we go. Here's the main villain of the movie, and that's Senator Rourke. You know, what did you think of Powers Booth as Senator Rourke?
Well, he was in the first one too.
Yeah.
He basically just continues that same mold. He plays a good bad guy. He's a good actor.
Yeah.
He plays a real good bad guy. I can't say anything bad about his performance. I mean, every time he's on the screen, it was just rotten. It was a rotten. He was rotten, and I mean, you could look at it, and the way they did him visually, you could just see the evil on his face.
Yeah.
I mean, look at this picture.
Yeah.
He looks evil.
Yeah.
I can't say nothing bad about him. I mean, I think he did a great job. I gotta say, I could agree with you with Brolin and Mickey Rourke is taking over this movie. This guy, his part was really good in it too. I loved his villainous.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he was horrible.
Yeah, I mean, oh god, you cannot think of a worse scumbag than this guy.
Yeah, and
I
he's
mean,
a senator for crying out loud.
Yeah, he's. Oh my god, this is the worst person you could ever think about.
Case in point, the scene that I hated the most, he did the most diabolical rap to Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character. I mean, diabolical.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't fathom just sitting there and watching that. It was horrible.
And he says to Joseph Gordon-Levitt, "Oh, there's a lot worse things I could do than kill you," and he does. I mean,
he proves it.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, he's. Oh my god.
He was awesome.
Yeah, I'm picking him right now as best bad guy in a movie this year.
I can't disagree with you.
I'd have to say, yeah.
He was better in General Zod.
Definitely. That was last year, but anyway.
Oh, well, whatever.
So, yeah, all this talking, let's wrap it up. Let's give our final thoughts on Sin City: A Dame to Kill For. Go for it, Jay.
Okay. We talked about the characters and everything. I thought the cast that came back did their parts well again. Jessica Alba, Rosario Dawson, Mickey Rourke, Powers Booth. Those guys did great in their, and Bruce Willis too in the sequences he was in. Like I said, I had a problem with the Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I just thought it was unnecessary. To me, that hurt it a little bit for me. I know it didn't bother you as much as it bothered me. That and the Ray Liotta scene, I just could have done without both of them. And the Miho action scene's great. The visual, that Sin City was good. Like I said, some things were blue, some things were red, some things were green. Ava Green, or how do you ever say Evergreen? Yeah. Her eyes were green. I mean, they were, and you just automatically stare at them when everything else is black and white, and that's what they were going for, and I see that. And I think Robert Rodriguez and Frank Miller did a good job of capturing that in the film itself, and it's right out of the pages of Frank Miller's book. I think those things are great, but like I said, the problems I had with it was the sequence, which I thought it was unnecessary, and the Ray Liotta scene was unnecessary. For that, I have to give it a C minus. I seen the first one. I thought the first one was much better. The first one I would have probably gave a B minus to. This one to me, it just, with those unnecessary things in there, it hurt it a little bit for me. It would have been a lower grade if it wasn't for all the other things I did like. I sound like you now.
Yeah.
But for me, it's a C minus.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Our roles is kind of reversed here because I'm gonna be the one that's gonna give it the higher grade this time. Well, I have a little bit of bias. I really loved the first movie. I've got the recut extended unrated version on DVD. I've got. Unfortunately, I only got one of the graphic novels, but it's a good one. And this story, the first story in here is the first sequence in the movie,
which is great because, like they said, they took it right from the pages of the book, which is a good thing.
Yeah, and
Hollywood don't usually do that.
And I've got my Marv action figure, so I have a little bit of a bias towards this movie. As you can see, I'm a fan of it, and I loved almost everything about this movie. I mean, there's a couple things that wasn't so good. I think, and I am an artist, and the visuals in this movie, oh my God, it's just so amazing. I love the visuals.
I definitely agree with you on that.
The artistic style, the stylized look to it, the black and white, the contrast with the colors. I mean, visually for me, this is just one. And it actually is visually one of the best movies out there this year. So that really influenced me a lot, and like I said, I love the first movie. If I didn't do a review on the first movie, but if I would have gave that an A.
You would have.
I would. So yeah, that shows you how much I liked the first movie. So this one, I had a little bit of a bias going into it, but I thought the visuals were amazing, the story was amazing, the actors are amazing, the characters are amazing. The dialogue was a bit, corny sometimes. You could see where they're trying to go for this. I think they call it a film noir, type of movie, and so they had a little bit of cheesy lines. For me, yeah, and you didn't like that one story with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, which I completely understand, but I liked it personally. Is it better than the first one or worse? I don't know. Almost as good as the first one. We'll say that. I think I'd have to say the first one is better.
I agree.
But this one is really good, and I'm glad to see them. To see these characters again. I'd love to see a series or a trilogy.
I told you, I think there's going to be a trilogy because I heard Johnny Depp's name for one of the roles. I don't know if it's true or not, but
yeah, and
I'd go see it.
Yeah, I would too. I mean, I'd love to see a whole lot more of these movies. So yeah, my final grade, it's not as good as the first one, so I'm gonna have to give this one a solid B, I'd say.
Wow. All right.
So, see you next time.
See you from Sin City.
Toxic Pop has a new Facebook page. Like it to see pictures and keep informed about our upcoming events and videos. A link is in the description. Go to www.facebook.com/toxicpop1.